unfortunately, I'm gonna kill the Taurus because I just don't love those. So
Okay.
Taurus is going to the junkyard. I'm gonna marry the Lightning because it's something that I would want to have long term. It's quite usable, and it's probably gonna go up in value. And I would, very short term, enjoy the Probe GT.
Thank you for putting it that way.
Yeah. I have a cold. Charlie had a pizza.
We're coming to you here.
Setting it up.
Bringing it to you raw. Episode 50, Daily Motor Podcast. Let's get it. Oh, you got the whole box even.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't need the Little Caesars napkins then. So hand those over here and we'll
Make the set look a little bit better. There you go.
Yeah, the set's a bit of a mess. I meant to come in today wearing a nice trucker hat, baseball hat, because I am now a truck owner.
That's
we'll
right.
discuss
Well,
later on. This is not a trucker hat.
Yeah,
Chris.
but someone would wear that drove that truck.
This is like a Woodward D-Gen hat.
Ah,
This is like a we on the lodge with it.
true.
Yeah. No, that's gonna stay right there. That's for Hellcats only. Supercharged. If my truck were supercharged rather than turbocharged, then
I see.
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome. The 50th episode of the Daily Motor Podcast. We've been here doing this for nearly a year, which is kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it is quite cool. And we're no Matt Farah necessarily, but I like to think that we're getting a pretty good rapport. We're providing fairly entertaining
Lots of good
content.
consumer advice.
Lots of good consumer advice happening
Yeah.
here. The camera quality has improved since the beginning.
Yeah.
The mic quality probably hasn't. What I do need to get at some point is an inline mixer.
6.
Yes, that too. I don't think I've ever owned an inline 6. I need to get an inline mixer that the mics go into and then into the computer, and I can kind of like fine tune the compression and various things like that. But honestly, for now, we're going to keep sending it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Speaking of podcasting, I just reserved the podcast studio for the Daily Motor Best Car of the Year, Best Good Car Award. I still have 3 years in. I can't decide what I want to call it, but
Is it because Daily Motor Car of the Year would be too basic?
yes, too generic. And
Best car?
Well, we always say things are good cars, so I want to do like the
car.
Best Good Car Award. Either way, yes,
The goodest car.
the Good Car Award show. Yeah, goodest car. That'll be happening on I want to say it's the 21st, whatever Wednesday is of that week.
You living that? We're going to live stream it?
Yeah, live stream, so everyone tune in. It is the 21st, Wednesday, December 21st at 6:30 p.m. We'll be live streaming and bracketing the best car of the year. We can do a little sneak preview of it right now. Kind of show you what...
The bracket?
Yeah. Kind of what's going to be coming up. Part of the... It's not going to work. You've taken a quick look through it, right?
Briefly, yeah.
Yeah.
There were a couple gaps last time I looked at it, though.
Okay. Car of the Year bracket. The Bodie. Best of the Year. So this year let me switch this back over to here. This year we're going to have, I tried to kind of keep the quadrants to fit the type of car.
I noticed that, yeah.
So
Quality is improving.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate your recognition there. The first quadrant will have commuter type cars, pretty much all compact crossovers of various classes, compact and midsize crossovers. Bottom left is more utility type vehicles. We got the Maverick, the Palisade, the Tundra,
The BMW iX.
Yeah, the iX against the Lightning, things like that. Then you've got all commuter cars up in the top right, so more EVs. You have the Civic, V60, things like that. And then the fun cars down in the bottom right. So that's your 911 GT3, the Charger, the WRX, Miata, etc. So on the live
Is nothing
stream,
up against the Kona N because you know whatever you put it up against is going to lose?
No, I just haven't. Well, partially, yeah. I haven't figured out what car should go there. And doing it in this bracket style is kind of fun because it allows us to really dig in and decide what is the best car for various reasons. It's not just like, oh, we think this car was good. And we really have to decide, okay, why would we have a Palisade over a Mercedes GLE? And then after that, well, why would we have that over a Maverick or Maverick over that or anything? And discuss. And sometimes you get some silly matchups, but once you get to like the last four, the final four, you usually get 4 really good cars. I think if we bring up...
Last year it was X5, Civic, Cayman, 4-liter.
and CX-5.
Okay.
Yep, so we had the Mazda
Are you
CX-5.
impressed that I remembered most of those?
I am impressed, actually. Mazda CX-5 versus BMW X5, two very good cars for very different reasons. Not even very different, but their own reasons. And then Civic versus 718. And it's not very often where someone's sitting and going, okay, what's a better car, the Honda Civic or the Porsche 718 lineup? But we really had to talk about, okay, what provides best bang for the buck? What provides the best driving experience, ownership experience, etc.? We got down to the X5 and the Civic. I kind of, in my heart, wanted the X5 to win.
Yeah.
Because it really is a compelling class, just a model lineup, etc. But you guys convinced me, Civic, and I do agree. The Civic really provides the whole package. And if we look at the year before that,
LC500, right?
Yep, LC500. I don't know if I still have it easily available here. Here we go. 2020. This one's not. Oh, wait. No, it's not finished out. I think I was kind of getting it ready for 2020 year and played around with some things. And there were a few different versions. First year was a little bit rougher, but then ended up being the
You guys did that on Winding Road.
Yep, we did that on Winding Road's channel.
Did you have a lot of viewers in that?
Not really. Not comparatively to like how many subscribers there are.
Like 100 people or something?
Something like that. Yeah. So tune in for that. That's going to be exciting. And we're also going to have our kind of silly breakup kind of awards. Like we'll probably do a best interiors and a biggest surprise. And one of the big surprises this year was the 2022 Subaru Forester.
Loved that transition.
That we had this year.
That was
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
Good.
Not any Forester.
Not just any Forester. No, it was the Wilderness Edition. All 12 badges throughout the vehicle telling you that it was the Wilderness Edition, which gives you half an extra inch of ground clearance, gets you fun goldish bronze accents
Skid plates.
The vehicle, skid plates.
Yokohama all-terrain tires.
Yep, Yokohama Geolanders. It gets you black matting on the hood, and Chris pointed out that is to reduce glare when off-roading into the driver's eyes.
As far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's a cool car.
Yeah.
Chris and I just shot the review, so some of our thoughts are already extinguished from our head. But we're on record complaining about these silly, lifestyle sort of versions of these cars.
Yeah.
And I told Chris we really ought to stop, because sometimes we'll go around and we'll complain that cars are boring and no one should be buying something like, I don't know, like a Camry, because there's just more exciting options out there, or a RAV4 or something. But then we go and complain when people buy the cool versions of cars that are special and a little bit more fun and unique. So we had to pick a side.
Yeah. And we chose Team Wilderness.
Yes, Team Wilderness, Team Timberlake, Team Trail Sport, Team whatever, all the different brands.
AT4.
AT4, Trail Boss.
Trail Hawk.
Rock Creek. I'm surprised Dodge
TRD Pro.
Yeah, Turd Pro, or just TRD Off-Road.
TRD Off-Road Adventure.
The only special edition I don't particularly agree with, and this isn't anything
Dodge
to do with...
just the Rebel and the Ram?
I don't know if they still do a normal Ram Rebel.
Anyway,
Probably
sorry.
do.
What don't you prefer?
I don't like the Toyota Corolla Apex edition. And it has nothing to do with the special version. It's just the fact that car's awful.
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
They took a Corolla. They made it ride worse. They put like a boy racer suspension on it, a bunch of aftermarket kit looking things, if you will, but did nothing to increase the performance of the car.
Is it a manual?
I don't believe so.
So they just made it ride worse.
Yes. Corolla Apex Edition.
Can you still have it?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh,
Here it
that's
is.
Kind of cool.
Yep, looks a little bit cooler. Let's see if they say here what is in the SE Apex. Bronze/black body kit, 18-inch black flow-formed wheels, lowered sport-tuned suspension.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, why would you have that for a good amount more than an XLE, which is getting you nice things like a bigger touchscreen, nice heated seats and everything like that? Why are you paying more just for all that stuff and not just getting a Civic Si? Or a Forte GT or something like that. Yeah, it's quite silly. Let's see what...
quite silly indeed.
Mm-hmm. We had it and we did not like it.
Who had it?
Both Chris and me.
Not fast, still fun. Oh, you can get the manual though, but it'll cost you even more, $26.
I guess that's with destination and everything. 26.7.
Probably just a free choose what you want type thing.
It could be. Yeah, it might be. So either way, I do think it's kind of cool for cars to get these special editions, kind of like this Forester. And the Forester is a pretty usable setup.
Yeah. You can drive it over curbs.
You can drive it over curbs. You can drive it to Starbucks. If you lived somewhere outdoorsy, you really could take it outdoors. The Wilderness Edition gets you this, as Chris described it, wetsuit material for seating. But you could tell it would be very rugged. You could have a dog with claws messing it all up, but it would probably survive just fine, wipe clean. You could throw a bike in the back, and all the back side of the second row seats are kind of ruggedized. They have a sort of a durable material on the back. It's not just carpet or something, so that would clean very easily. Yep. It's very easy to fold the seats.
Hose it out.
Yeah.
Get your stinky foot smell out of there, and good to go.
And a lot of the annoyances that Subarus have aren't found in that car. It's got a usable touchscreen. It's got physical climate controls. It doesn't have that bad of beeps all the time.
Nowhere to put your phone, though.
Yeah, Chris found that out, that especially with larger devices, if you don't want to put your cup holders, nowhere to put your phone.
And if you're lined in for CarPlay, there's really nowhere to put your phone.
Yeah, and that car doesn't have wireless CarPlay. It's wired only.
Is it?
Yeah. Yep. But I plugged in a wireless CarPlay adapter and it worked perfectly.
That would be the way to go.
The wireless CarPlay adapter that will not work with our Maverick.
But it does work with the Subi.
Yeah.
Why won't it work with the Maverick?
I don't know. The Maverick's being a little pain in the butt.
Really?
Yeah.
You should sell it.
Funny you should bring that up. I actually
did sell it.
I was actually browsing Chevrolet Bolts over the weekend, and on the Chevy website it popped up with the little black book thing that said like put in your car's info and get a trade-in estimate. And usually I ignore those because you have to put in your email address and phone number and everything, but I just put in like an email I don't really use and a phone number I don't use, and I got it. I paid $28,700-ish or so for that truck, and the current black book trade-in value right now is between $31,000 and $34,000. Even with the mileage and everything.
Wow. How many miles are on it?
14K.
14? You've put a lot of miles on that truck.
No, I guess Alyssa put a lot of miles.
Matthew put, and Alyssa.
Yeah.
How many miles have you put on it? Like maybe like 3,000 or 4,000?
Yeah. That. I don't get to drive my toys. Yep.
Your toys. Oh, jeez.
So the Maverick is still worth a good amount, and we still could sell it, I think. Especially the fact that Ford's order windows for the 23 Maverick were like a week. If you didn't get it in and then, you're screwed. So
irritating.
But I drove it the other day to meet the Topher to do some bicycle riding, and I still like the truck so much. It's everything that new cars do that are annoying, the Maverick doesn't do.
Yeah.
It doesn't beep at you. It doesn't have, you don't have to control things through the screen. It's no weird anything because it's just all straightforward and simple.
And the tray inserts or other trim pieces are orange.
Yes, and there are so many of them that I guarantee you could fit 10 phones in that truck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are not many new cars that have as many cubbies as the Maverick does. Yeah. Maybe that should be one of the DM awards, is most cubbies.
Most cubbies.
Mm-hmm.
Mostest places to put your phone.
Yeah. Most places to put an iPhone 12
with a cord sticking out of it.
The cord sticking out of it, which you do have to do with the Maverick because it's not wireless CarPlay,
yep.
And the adapter doesn't work. The wireless adapter doesn't work.
Yep.
But all that is to say, the infotainment's not very good, and
neither is the sound system.
No.
How many speakers does it have?
6.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it had that many.
Yeah. 4 in the front, 2 in the back. I've been trying to do a software update on it, but with the base Sync 2.5 system, which it has, you can't do a USB software update. It has to be over the air, but it's very, very finicky. And if your signal strength isn't excellent, it just totally poops out. Like you hit scan for updates and it just continually cycles.
Good.
Nothing happens. So I tried for about an hour last night in my garage to get it to do a software update, and just wouldn't even acknowledge that there's one available, which I know there is because people say online, what version are you on and everything. Sure. So I need to try it somewhere with better Wi-Fi, I guess, than my garage. So that's a thing that's coming. But either way, still love the Maverick. We have considered selling it and getting a Prius.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
We've finally, after all these months of waiting, we've finally been able to see the new Prius, and it looks excellent.
It does look really good. I'm quite a fan. A lot of people are quite a fan. Probably going to be a good car, too, and gets a ton of search volume.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 times more than the Maverick. So I think that would be an excellent view car.
Yeah.
Problem is you can't do quite as many things with videos as you can with the Prius. The reason the Maverick's been so great for videos, so many things you can do. Accessories in the bed, accessories inside, towing, fuel economy with the tonneau cover, different ownership perspectives.
Fuel economy versus the hybrid.
Yeah,
Comparison versus the hybrid.
Comparison versus the Santa Cruz.
You would struggle because you can't put things that are too large for the Prius in the Prius because it doesn't have a bed.
Yeah.
You like putting things that are too large for the Maverick in the Maverick because it has a bed and there's no limit to the amount of sort of height that you can put in there.
Every time I do some sort of moving and the bed of the Maverick is brimming, I send a photo to Chris and he goes,
yeah,
that's
no,
very
because
good.
the first time he did it, I was like, wow, that's really something. And then the next like 5 times, I was just like, okay, that's very normal. The last time was like a couch. It was like the biggest couch I've ever seen. And you had it in pieces. Did you have it in pieces? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No,
another good one, you know what the other good one was?
Mm-hmm.
When we went and got these desks, which are off camera, you guys can't see them, but they're big like office desks. And we had a F-150 Tremor on test that week. And I took the Tremor out there and we put a desk in the back. Charlie puts like an equally sized desk in his Maverick with no bed liner, no nothing. He just into the Maverick. That was when I knew. I was like, I don't. It was so new. It had less than 1,000 miles on it.
We had just gotten
it. Was brand new. Yeah.
That was like, all right, let's go do truck stuff.
Yeah. That was another video too, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Didn't we film that?
It was part of the intro video. The comparison versus the Tremor.
That's right.
Yeah, which that video has done decently well. Like people are kind of interested, like F-150 versus tiny truck. The only one we haven't done is compared to the Ranger, which would make sense, but the Ranger's kind of...
Are there any Rangers in the press fleet?
Doubt it, because the new one's coming out any time here. Yeah.
When are they going to give us that? Maybe Chicago Auto Show?
Chicago would be good. You'd think they'd do it at Detroit Auto Show, but...
Well, they missed their shot. That was in July, wasn't it?
Yeah, instead they released a facelifted Corsair.
We went, and then Joe Biden kicked us out. So.
Yeah, thanks, Biden.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Obama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Maverick is still one of my favorite videos, and I think nearly every homeowner should own a pickup truck after having one. Because we've owned a crossover and been homeowners, and then we've owned a truck and been homeowners. And
how else would you transport tree branches?
Right.
You like to do that.
Like, that's the thing we like to do, and that's the thing that homeowners often have to do because it gets windy and tree branches fall down, and if you're responsible, you pick them up and you take them to a place. But even, for example... We've got a bunch of moving pavers once, or not moving pavers, but paver stones for a sidewalk, and we did that in a Tesla, and we had to very carefully put in a tarp into the back, and then we had to, like, as we were putting them in, every now and then, like, one like would kind of fall over and scrape against the plastic on the side, and we were like, very tough, had to drive careful and everything. If we had the Maverick, then it would have just been put them in, twist the shifter into drive and drive away. So
yeah.
It does make homeownership life a lot easier. And over the last 8,000 miles, we've been averaging 27 miles per gallon.
That's phenomenal.
It's
not even the hybrid.
No. It's the least fuel efficient model they make.
Yeah.
It's the FX4.
FX4, 4K tow.
Yeah, all that stuff.
2 liter, all-wheel drive.
Mm-hmm. And the FX4 gets you a slightly better shock package, so it rides pretty well. I even have the tires deflated a little bit right now. They're at like 32 instead of 35. So... yeah.
Does it throw a TPMS for that? No, it's good.
No. It's just kind of gotten colder, and I've just left it because I figure it rides probably a little bit better. And yeah, so it could be cool to have a Prius, but I think the Maverick is a better car.
What color would you have on a Prius?
What colors do they come in?
I don't think they've announced that yet.
Well, then I don't know.
If they do a yellow, I think you should have a yellow one.
I would like to own a yellow car at some point in my life.
Yeah, and it should be a Prius.
There are 3...
New York Taxi. We'll get you some magnets to throw on the side of it that say NYC Taxi. Yeah, just like that.
It is a shame that the new Prius isn't quite as hatchbacky. Pretty sleek.
It's still a hatchback, though.
Yeah, isn't it more of a liftback at this point?
I guess so, yeah.
There are 3 color cars I'd like to own at some point in my life.
Yellow.
Just, and yellow car. Doesn't matter what it is. But not just a green car. It has to be a green pickup truck. Like a forest green pickup truck.
Why?
I just like the idea. I mean, to be fair, if you really psychoanalyze me, we had a green Ram when I was a young child.
Okay.
But I've always thought green pickup trucks are like the classiest.
They are nice. Yeah, I just like green in general. I've never owned a green car. No, you have though now.
Oh, my Escape. Yeah, see that type of green doesn't count for me. It needs to be
that's like
forest
green.
The green. Do you remember what the third is?
No.
Very specific.
Oh, yes. Miami blue.
Yep, a Miami blue Porsche.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what, even if it's a Macan, it needs to be Miami blue. And a bonus is a Kona blue Ford product.
You've already done that.
No, I haven't.
Your SVT Focus?
That wasn't Kona blue. That was Sonic blue.
Oh, Sonic blue. Yeah, that's right. That was a very SVT color back then. You could have it on the SVT Focus, the Terminator Cobra, and the Lightning. That's what I want next. We've talked about that already. I so badly want a second gen SVT Lightning. I think they're the coolest thing.
Second gen. Oh yeah, they did a first way back.
They
in
did
the 90s,
they did an OBS, like a boxy, naturally aspirated 5.8 liter, which is a cool.
That's kind of cool.
Cool, and I would settle for one of those too. I think those are awesome. But the second gen with the supercharged 5.4, like, oh, it's so cool. Side exhaust, body kit.
Here's a question for you. I'm trying to think of the most appropriate way to say this. Bang, marry, kill.
Ah, okay.
First gen F-150 Lightning.
First gen, okay.
I guess this would be a third gen, the round headlight Taurus SHO.
Ooh, with the V8.
Mm-hmm,
that's a good one.
V8. Or the third option is a Probe GT manual.
Probe GT. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm gonna kill the Taurus because I just don't love those. So Taurus is going to the junkyard. I'm gonna marry the Lightning because it's something that I would want to have long term. It's quite usable, and it's probably gonna go up in value. And I would, very short term, enjoy the Probe GT.
Thank you for putting it that way. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I'm surprised you wouldn't want to short term enjoy the Taurus. Because you've already short term enjoyed a
not a GT though.
Really?
No, mine wasn't a GT. Mine was a base model.
But you've driven it.
I know.
I feel like that's the equivalent of short term enjoying it.
I don't want to send a Probe to the junkyard though, and I wouldn't feel bad sending a Taurus to the junkyard.
But you've probably never driven one of those Tauruses.
No, I haven't.
Heard it and everything.
They're probably fine.
And the
probably torque
second
steers
gen
quite a
manual,
bit.
or second gen SHO you could get with a manual.
Yeah, but you said third gen, which is the V8.
Would it change if it were a second gen?
Probably, yeah. I'd probably keep, or I would
kill the Probe.
Yeah, I'd probably kill the Probe.
Okay.
Because I appreciate and like the Yamaha V6 manual Taurus SHO. I think those are a little bit cooler. I like the V8 car, but it's just it's a little more mainstream. I think because a lot of things were V8s in that era. There were a lot of front wheel drive, like a lot of GM vehicles you could have.
Yeah, and you could have the Lincoln Continental.
And you could have the Lincolns and like a lot of other stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't very.
I'd rather have the 6 manual.
Though I would really like to drive a V8 SHO because I bet they're hilarious.
Yeah. No, I bet that'd be cool.
Yeah.
My grandmother owned one of those.
Really? It was very much an old people car.
Yeah.
Never took them above like 3,000 RPM.
They had multiple Taurus SHOs because they have the new one that Nathan now owns, but they had that. I think they had both the second and third gen SHOs.
Really?
Well. Yeah. And then actually, I think they gave it to my mother, and I think my dad sold it. So, yeah. So
were any of them manual?
I doubt it. Because the only one that could have been is the first, and they're old. I mean, they weren't old then, but they were older, so it's probably on automatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, good to know. Can you tow with the SVT Lightning?
Who cares? I just want to do burnouts.
Okay. You said how usable it is. Just
right.
talking about
Well, if you
usable
need
for
to
putting
use
E90 dashes in the back of it?
Yes, exactly. You could use stuff. You could use the bed. You just went on a whole rant about how everyone should own a pickup truck.
No, I was going to say the bed aspect is arguably more usable than
towing.
Than the towing. And I used to be of the opinion that, you could just get a crossover or whatever and put a hitch on and
actually. I'm
tow with a utility trailer. But utility trailers are a bit difficult to have and keep somewhere, and then you got to hitch it up. You got to make sure it's properly maintained and a plate on it and everything. Whereas just having a pickup bed, you just right there, it's always ready for you.
5,000 pounds it can tow.
The second gen?
Second gen Lightning. Let's see what the first gen Lightning can tow. It might even be more.
Because you get something like a Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT and you can't tow with it because the exhaust pipes are in the way.
Yes, true.
And with the Ram SRT 10, couldn't you not use the bed because the wing blocked it or something like that? Or was there something weird, or maybe you couldn't tow with the Ram or something?
You may not have been able to open the tonneau cover.
Maybe
you may have had to just slide stuff in, like not be able to have stuff sticking out of it, which would not work for you.
No, you know me.
Let's see.
Max it out.
So Motor Trend had a long-termer F-150 Lightning back in the 90s. Find towing capacity. These are so cool. The perforated leather steering wheel and the cloth seats with the embroidered lightning badges.
Yeah. Yeah, especially.
Okay, 5,000 as well.
Okay.
And they're comparing it. They're saying properly equipped, an F-150 can tow 12,000 pounds. The Lightning can only tow 5,000.
Why is that? That an F-150 can tow just as much as an F-350 in a lot of cases? Like, because my truck that we'll talk about more in a little while here, that is an F-350, its tow rating is 12,000.
Charlie's a truck guy. He has more trucks than he does cars. You own 2 trucks and a minivan. Anyways.
That makes me happy.
Uh,
Wait, now let's we'll get into this more. But how much utility do I have compared to you and your vehicle? So I have 3 vehicles. Collectively, they can seat 9 plus 7, 8, 16 people. I think we had this discussion on a podcast a few weeks ago. But also I can tow now collectively 16,500 pounds. And I have 7 feet of bed plus 4.5 feet of bed. So 11.5 feet of bed plus another 8 feet in the minivan that can be used.
Yep.
Your eyes are rolling pretty hard. 17, 8. It's about 25 feet of cargo area.
Sure. None of my cars are practical. We know this. None of them make sense. Literally none of them do.
Okay.
You've got the ML55, which doesn't run properly right now. But even if it was running,
we can't let that be a stipulation.
That's true, because then they would knock off some of yours as well. But the ML55 is an SUV, but it's an SUV from the early 2000s, so it isn't that big. There's not that much room inside, and it's a sport SUV, so it's a 5.5 liter V8, which gets EPA rated like 12 miles per gallon. Charlie's getting a phone call, per usual.
Hello, this is Charles. Good, how are you? Sounds good.
Picking up the
Yep, we got it ready to go. It's fueled up and it's out front. That sounds good to us. All right, thanks a lot. Just let me know when it's swapped and we'll grab the keys. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye. Infinity's on its way.
Very good.
Yeah, I think your ML55 probably gets similar-ish fuel economy to my diesel truck.
I think it was combined. Realistically, I think combined was like 14. Because it was like 12 city, 18 highway or something.
16 highway.
16 highway.
14 combined.
That's so bad.
Yeah.
People just bought those in the early 2000s for like $70,000, which in today's money is like $100,000.
Yep.
And just drove about in them.
Well, the thing that's even crazier is your car's having some issues running properly. We can get that and everything, but it was also very poorly maintained. Imagine how woeful a new GLE 63 is going to be after 20 years. Like how broken.
I would say
it's going
worse
to be.
than mine.
Much worse.
I was reading a comment on the Straight Pipes finally put up a review on a G70 7 Series, the new gen. And the top comment is like, what a like lease it and be done with it vehicle. They're like, this car is going to be good for 3 years and then done. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a car built for somebody to own for 3 years and forget about it.
So subscribe to Topher Drives, so in 20 years you can see him buying a 7 Series.
That's right, because I will buy one in 20 years. Hold me to it.
Yep.
I've only ever owned one 7 Series, and I miss it. It's so funny that everything is just, we're having lots of good segues today. Yeah. I was just talking about 2 days ago how I want to buy it back so bad, and I can't find it, and I lost the guy's phone number, and I like can't.
Have you Carfaxed it?
No, I should. I do have the VIN. I'll have Stu run a Carfax.
Yeah, run a Carfax and see where it's at. Yeah,
if it even exists anymore.
You could own an S Class and a 7 Series, and
from
then,
the same era.
And then I would gift you a V10 S8 at some point, and then
you'd gift it to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'd gift you the worst S8s in America, and let you have all 3 of them. Great. And then we'd find some Lexus LS that runs perfectly.
They all run fine.
Well, who knows with your 7 Series? Oh, you're saying all Lexuses run properly now? LSs.
All LSs probably run fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I had one that was not running properly, but I got it to run properly.
What was wrong with it? The one from Copart?
Yeah, I think it just needed a belt and maybe a pulley of some sort. But unfortunately, the top of the radiator had a little nipple that came off for the hose, and that was plastic. And I was reaching in, replacing the serpentine belt, and I cracked that nipple on the top of the radiator, so I had to put an entirely new radiator in it just because of that.
Did you make money on that car, or did you break even?
I probably just barely broke even. I broke even in the same way that I think a lot of us car people kind of like break even on project cars. Like, oh yeah, I'm sure I probably only had like 4,800 into it. I mean, when you like, if you really totaled it up, it was probably like a good 500 or 1,000 more than that. But it's just like, because there's so many of those little incidental costs that you kind of just let go by the wayside. You run up to AutoZone and you pick up like $25 worth of this, and you don't count that in your final total. Or, then there's a plate cost transfer for $40. You don't count that in your final total and stuff. And so it's like, was it really there? Or you use $20 worth of oil that you had sitting around or something like that. So
sure.
And then there's all the time and everything, but it was cool.
Who did you sell that to?
A D-Gen from Dearborn.
Okay.
The other car we had this week that is a Lexus is the Lexus RX 500h.
F-Sport Performance.
It was good. It was a good car.
It was.
A prototype.
Well, not pink.
Prototype. Pre-production.
Yep.
Very pink. Very cool rose goldish type pink.
Yeah.
And what I appreciate about the Lexus RX is it that color?
No, but this is pink.
Thanks. For all of you listening, Chris just pointed out a little pink part of our all brand box to show you all what pink looks like. What I appreciated about the RX is that so much made sense about it. A lot of the ergonomic controls, a lot of the ways going about doing life with the car, getting in and out of it, things like that, just worked very well. Things that are subtle, like the back seat, back doors, you could unlock and lock them from back there with the proxy key. You could adjust the intensity of the volume of the lock sound when you leave. So when you gave the car to me, it didn't make any noise when you lock it. But there's a slider that you can slide for how loud you want it to be. So it was all the way off. It's all the way off. I turned it to just be about a third. So it's just a nice subtle beep to let me know that I locked. So you're not waking up all your neighbors when you lock your car in the evening or anything like that. A lot of the things just made sense about that car, and I appreciated about it. Good screen, nice steering, good tuned powertrain. Anything else?
It was the quietest thing in the world.
It was quite quiet. It succeeds in being a good RX. Very quiet, very floaty, comfortable. Even this was the sporty version, the F-Sport Performance and everything. It still had a good Lexus float to it. Yeah. Very Lexus-y. We took it to Detroit and back.
We did.
Very easy to drive.
Yeah, it was great.
It does get a little overzealous in some of the safety features. It has a beeping enabled where if you're pulling out onto a road perpendicularly and cars are going by you, it beeps to let you know, hey, there are cars going by you. It's like, thanks.
Hey, I can see that.
Yeah. I'm actively driving. But just in case you were to decide to text right as you were getting ready to pull out onto a highway, it's good that you have that feature, I guess. Yeah. The Mark Levinson sound system was unfortunately pre-production and didn't have the final tuning on it, but overall was pretty good. Some weird artifacts to it. So we decided not to review it this week. We're going to wait till we get a production model. Also because it claims to be a 21 speaker sound system, and I could not for the life of me count 21 speakers. And I've been doing this for years now. I'm getting quite good at figuring out, these are probably dual, like combo speakers and stuff. Could not.
How many did you count?
17.
Maybe that one only has 17.
It's possible. Maybe there are two tiers of Mark Levinson for the RX, and it just didn't delineate between the two of them.
Yeah.
But because that car is so new, Mark Levinson didn't have any documentation on it or anything. So I emailed Lexus PR and I said, like, can you tell me where all these speakers are? And they don't have the information in America, so they're asking Japan.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully Japan knows.
When Japan gets back to us, we'll let you know.
Yeah. We have to overnight the document from Japan.
Overnight documents from Japan.
Yep. Exactly. So I would still approve of the RX. I do think they managed to make it uglier, which is a bit of a shame because the last one wasn't very good looking either.
I don't think it looks so bad.
It's
like the front?
It's very dopey in the front.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think the new NX looks much better than the new RX.
And the new NX looks better than the old NX.
Yes. Yeah, so the new
I had
NX
a weird
is
overbite
great car.
before.
Now the RX kind of has an overbite. It's sort of a dopey, like droopy-eyed
Yeah, a little
overbite
bit.
look to it. So, but good color, and it's better than being boring, I guess.
Yeah.
So if you like good, simple, boring cars, the RX.
Yeah.
This week at Daily Motor Headquarters, we have one very boring car and one very not boring car. Can you guess which one is which?
Yes.
Okay, good. The first one, the boring car, is the 2023 Infiniti QX60. And it's actually kind of fitting.
Sensory
is the model, you're right. All-wheel drive. Kind of fitting that we have the QX60 because it is a competitor to the RX. In fact,
True.
if you and I were feeling zealous and motivated, we would go out when the Infiniti gets here and do a quick walk-around compare with the two cars. We probably won't. But if we were
also because of the state that I'm in,
yes.
I might step away
Chris
for a second and blow my nose.
All right, we're gonna let Chris go tend to himself. Yeah. You don't need to be here for that. The last QX60 we had, after it was entirely redone for 2022, was in a color called Warm Titanium. And it was the Autograph edition, so it was top trim and had all the bells and whistles. This Sensory model should still have all the same features, but just not the same level of luxury materials. It's not going to have the same quilted semi-aniline leather interior bits, and might look a little bit less fancy, but it should still be as nice to be in terms of feature content and quality, and costs a little bit less.
What color is this one? Is it gray? I think I was reading on the Monroney that it's gray.
Okay.
Sorry, the window
sticker.
sticker.
I don't know. We'll be seeing it here shortly. The QX60 is fine. We spent a lot of time in it. We took it to Wisconsin and back, and
We sure did.
We
spent like 12 hours in that car, probably more.
My only problem is that it costs nearly the same as the RX. And why wouldn't you just have the RX?
I'd have the RX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully Infiniti's not watching this and be like, oh, shoot, why did we give him this car? But there are advantages to the Infiniti. The Infiniti has a 9-speed transmission.
Yes.
That is a good thing. And a V6.
V6.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
those are good. Those are good things.
There are certainly redeeming factors of the QX60 that, sometimes when you go to compare an Infiniti or a Nissan to something, you automatically just kind of rule them out. But honestly, in the past couple of years, they have been making some changes to kind of elevate themselves a little bit more. Like they got rid of the CVT.
Yeah.
And I've been really appreciating Infiniti interiors lately, even in the Q50, which is not a new car by any means. Some of the materials in there, the quality of everything, and also the infotainment. I mean, it made sense.
Yeah,
So,
it works.
yeah.
This one has wireless CarPlay, but only wired Android Auto. So rip Android folk.
They always usually get the short end of the stick.
Yep, typically. We're going to try to dig deep. We're going to try to find good
Topher
things.
is calling me.
Oh, would you like to answer him? I'll leave that one up to you.
Got me to...
Sure. Just see what he's up to. But let him know we're podcasting.
Christopher, we are doing a podcast. What's up? Yes, it did. In fact, it was one of our main impressions from that week.
But interestingly, he has a different VIN than we did.
Yeah, you're supposed to have a different car than us because this is hilarious. We literally went on the website and we're like, we wonder if Chris is going to get the one with the awful smell. So I guess you did. Maybe they switched it last minute.
Maybe they did.
So let me see if you agree. We thought it smelled kind of like menthols and like bad perfume.
And leftovers.
And leftovers.
A bag of what?
Bag of what? Leaves?
What are bleeps?
Oh, a bag of...
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, well, not quite. Maybe they all just
I was going to say,
bad.
maybe you have like coincidentally somebody took a bleep in yours and it's different. Because yeah, that was like literally all week we were like,
complaint.
God, this thing stinks.
It never aired out.
And it never aired out. It smelled the same all week. The Odyssey smelled horrible. The silver Odyssey. That one smelled like cigarettes. Yeah.
Okay, well maybe I don't want to do a fuel economy test on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
The Honda HR-V smells bad, folks.
That's actually really funny. Yeah. Stanky. Yeah. All right.
Chris, cool Ferrari video you put up today.
Oh yeah, very good Ferrari video.
Same.
Yeah, we've driven a Ferrari. Yeah, but true.
Yeah, due to Ferrari being anti-car.
Yeah, right. Anti-uniqueness. Yeah, but yep.
All right.
Okay. Drive on. We'll talk to you later. Yeah.
Why did Ken Lingenfelter decide to get rid of all of his Ferraris?
Did he get rid of them?
I guess Chris said they're all gone.
There was one Ferrari there.
There was one?
There was a Roma.
That's the new one.
That's the newest one. There was a Roma. I'm wondering if either he sold them all or if he just has them at his house or something.
Or they're somewhere else. He had a lot of Ferraris.
He had a
though.
lot. He had like 10 Ferraris. He had a ton. He had an Enzo. Excuse me. He had an Enzo. He had a LaFerrari.
He had one of the
He had
four-seaters, I
FF.
think.
He had a FF with snow tires on it, which is really cool.
Well, Ken's a pretty down-to-earth dude, and I could see him kind of not vibing with the Ferrari deal anymore. Like
Totally.
once he got there, he was probably like, I don't want to be seen as a Ferrari dude.
And also the Roma had a big Collie Ferrari banner behind it. So I'm wondering if maybe that wasn't even his Roma. It could have been a Collie car.
Yeah. Okay.
He did have a GT4 RS.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Did you not end up going?
I didn't end up going.
Okay.
I mean, it was just tough because like.
Because you were doing everything with your transaction that day.
Yeah. And I didn't know if I'd catch you guys, and I didn't want to drive all the way up there in the Lexus just to be like, oh look, it's because that's the thing with car collections is like once you've been there a few times, it's like you're gonna see most.
There
of
were
the same
some different
cars.
things, but yeah, I agree.
And I would have wanted to go with you guys. I was planning on being there at noon, but then the transaction occurred, and we'll talk about that here.
I wait to talk about that.
Yeah,
I'm looking
yeah.
forward to it all morning.
Yeah. So the Infiniti QX60, we're going to find something redeeming to talk about it. We have another 4-letter and number acronym car. It's not an acronym. It's just alphanumeric car.
That ends with 60.
Yes.
The 2023 Genesis GV60 Performance.
Yes. All electric.
Yeah.
Based on the
Now,
same platform as the Ioniq 5 and the EV6.
Yep. We drove this at Mama.
Yes.
Back in whenever that was, April or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we drove it in the pouring rain, and I went out with Charlie in it, and he puts me behind the wheel. It's soaking wet out. This car's on like summer tires. And he's like, turn everything off and punch it. And it was one of the most terrifying things in the world because the car has so much power. And it was sending everything. Why was it sending everything to the front wheels?
I don't know.
Because you could floor it and turn and nothing happens.
Yeah, which is strange because it has
All-wheel
two
drive.
electric motors,
Yeah.
and they're both 160 Newton meters, I believe, or
It was
kilowatts
sketchy.
or whatever. Yeah, they're supposed to have the same amount of power.
I'm looking forward to driving it with traction.
Yes.
Because I've never done that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the GV60 is pretty cool. We're going to be putting a lot of miles on it. I'm driving it to Detroit on Friday and then Kalamazoo on Saturday. So,
By we, Charlie means he's going to be putting a lot of miles
yeah,
on it.
you're going to drive it back and forth.
I was
going
gonna
to
say,
house a few times.
I'm going to put like 50 miles on it, and that'll be it.
Yep. So I like it. It's a car that pushes what it means to be a car right now, and I think it's cool. Even if it's not for everyone, I think it's neat. It's got things like a retina scanner to get into the car, and that's
Can we
just
set that up?
I don't know. I'll have to ask Hyundai. Which reminds me, I need to talk to Hyundai. Remind me to call Michelle today at 4 p.m. I want to ask them why we haven't been invited to anything anymore.
We did. Palisade.
Yeah, the local Palisade event when I had talked to Michelle and said, wait, you guys didn't go on National Palisade? Oh, come on my local trip.
Oh. Well, they haven't launched anything else, have they?
They've had... Think about it. We haven't been to anything Hyundai since you... Didn't you go to something down in...
Yeah, I did the N
thing down in Atlanta.
I got a lot of content from that.
Yeah, I know. I feel like we've covered all their products really well.
Yeah.
We're always nice
and I
about
sent
Hyundais.
clips.
Right. So why didn't we get anything Ioniq 5 related? We didn't get New Palisade National. I feel
GV60. There was a GV60 event.
Yeah, but
Genesis is separate.
Yeah. And
have
there's got to be new Hyundai things that we haven't gone to.
I don't
know. I'll investigate a little bit more, but I just think it's a bit strange. And I like have not heard from Lori Schultz at all. So I'm just
Who's
kind of
that?
curious. She's Michelle's boss.
Oh, I see.
essentially.
Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to spending time in the GV60. Unfortunately, the performance model gets slightly less range than the base model because of extra weight and less or more
Probably
rolling
big
resistance
wheels and
stuff.
tires.
Yeah.
I hope it's on. I hope it's not on summer tires. I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be surprised though if it showed up on
42 degrees.
I know. I think it's gonna stay pretty much that this week. In the 40s.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be nasty or anything. So.
Dude, I was gonna say something controversial, but I don't think I want to.
Yeah.
About global warming.
Yeah, you don't want us to get flagged for misinformation.
Yep. So I will keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, smart. Okay, those are the cars we have this week. So last week, if you tuned into the Daily Motor Podcast, you may have heard that I had gotten a trade offer for my 2008 Ford Escape Hybrid, which I lovingly had taken from insurance auction, hammered back into shape, put on some new parts, and drove it about 700 miles or so. And it was
put a lot of miles on it.
Excellent car.
Yeah.
Just S tier, great used car, 330,000 miles.
It was like one of the most
owner.
Charlie vehicles ever.
Yeah, and thank you to Chris for pointing it out. We bid on it here on the podcast.
I found it.
Yep.
But then you won it. Well, we bid on it here, but then you had to bid on it more.
Yeah, and I won it.
Yeah, because you were like, here's my top dollar, not going higher than that. I'm watching the auction live, and the car sold for, I think, $50 over your top bid. And I was like, oh, man, he didn't get it. So I texted you, and I was like, rip, sorry about that, man. And then you wrote back and said, rip, and then you sent a screenshot of, you won. And I was like, oh, my God. So,
yep.
Yeah.
So it was great. We did our videos on it. The other one, the update from the trying to sell it experience just went up today, actually.
Oh, today? I thought it went tomorrow. Today, okay.
Went today.
Cool.
Never sold it, but last week I got a trade offer for someone with a 2003 Ford F350 King Ranch. Yeah.
With what motor, Charlie?
Well, he just said diesel.
I thought he told you it was a 7.3.
It was.
He did tell you it was a 7.3.
He said, like he's not a diesel expert, but looking at the...
He knew it wasn't a 7.3.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, cool, it's a 7.3. It's the more reliable. It's not the woefully unreliable 6-liter that everyone tries to steer clear of. And this being a 2003 would have been the very first iteration, the very first introduction of that 6-liter.
That's always good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
very first. And we found out that it was an early 2023 build. Or 2003
Yeah, February
build.
of 03.
Yep, so probably a very early version of that motor indeed. But so we messaged back and forth a bit, tried to meet up on that Monday, and it fell through. The guy's various Facebook Marketplace problems saying like, oh, I got my kids, this, that, blah, blah, blah. It didn't work out. So I tried to line things up with him a few more for the next few days. Things weren't lining up. Yep. And when he first posted his listing for his truck, he had a few photos of it and everything, and he said in the listing description, looking to sell or trade for a Ford Escape all-wheel drive or Escape hybrid. And I was like, oh, so this is why he wants to trade. He's got a 3,500 diesel truck. Yep. Diesel's like $2 a gallon more right now. So if he's not doing a lot of towing, why does he need a truck like this? He probably wants to have a more fuel-efficient daily driver type vehicle. It made sense, even though on paper it's like, well, why is this truck? I mean, this truck's worth a lot more than my 300,000-mile Escape. Why is he offering to trade? Wasn't asking for cash or anything. So after a few days...
I told Charlie it was sus.
Yeah. After a few days, he had changed his listing description, got rid of the part about trading, and updated it and said, I've gotten a ton of offers. Look, first person to show up with $6,000 cash gets it. And I was like, I tried following up a few more times. He like messaged back, but like then didn't message back. And then eventually a few days later, it said he had left the group. So I was like, all right, this guy, he's probably just going to sell it. I understand. Like, whatever, let it be.
Yeah.
A few more days go by and his listing is still up. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to. So Saturday morning, I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to try and see what happens. Because I was kind of cross with myself. I'm like, I should have taken more initiative because he offered to meet me, but it was kind of out in Metro Detroit and it was going to be dark that first day. And I was like, I don't want to screw with this. But then the more and more we talked about it, the more I realized it was going to be such a great deal to try to get this to happen. I was like, I should have tried to do that. So Saturday morning, I shoot him a new message thread on his listing saying like, hey man, look, I know you're a busy guy. I know you got things going on with kids, all these people offering. I'm happy to come out to you. I'll bring the Escape. Even if you need a little cash on top, I said, I'll even put some cash on top if you need. Let's make it happen. And he wrote back pretty quickly and said, yeah, if you can be out here, this was at like 9:30 in the morning. He was like, if you can be out here before noon and meet me at this gas station, if you can do 400 cash on top of the Escape, and then I can get my kids some Christmas presents or whatever, and we can do the deal. And I was like, done. All right, let's go. So I called up Nathan. We hopped in the Escape, went to the bank, pulled out cash. I even pulled out 800 cash just in case like there was something I needed on top to like really make it happen. So we get down, we meet up, we pull up. The truck is filthy.
Yeah, I saw
that. I think I have a photo here.
Also, I'm gonna do a blowing nose break. So as you pull that up.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull up this photo. So this is what the truck looked like when we met him. Filthy, totally dirty from dirt road style.
New meaning to two-tone there.
Yeah, seriously. But I guess I've kind of said it a few times, but this is a 2003 Ford F350 Super Duty King Ranch FX4 package with a 6-liter diesel, single rear wheelbase. It's not a dual.
Is it four-wheel drive?
Four-wheel drive.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
FX4 had to be.
Oh, sure. Duh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. We meet up. It's clearly had some damage, which was shown in the photos. That's fair, but at least in the photos it was clean. So he shows up super dirty and gets out. He was a nice enough guy. He's very kind. He was maybe late 30s, early 40s, possibly. A little blue collar, but just talking. One of those people that talks so much about literally nothing.
Just like to hear himself talk.
Yeah, and would transition right from one thing to another without like any sort of like
pause.
Yeah, and is telling us about this different vehicle and that different vehicle and land he owns up north and moving this and all this stuff. So I'm just like, all right, just tell me about the truck. So we're going around it. I knew it wasn't going to be pretty. It's got rust, things like that. He's telling me details about it and everything. So finally I'm like, all right, well, he's not really asking anything about the Escape. So I'm like, let's talk a little bit about the Escape, kind of tell him about it. He tells me he's owned 3 Escapes, one or two hybrids, and then all-wheel drives or something like that. So he's familiar. He's owned a lot of different vehicles. And kind of as we expected, it's his wife wanted him to sell this and get something that's more, and she was actually going to be the one driving the Escape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that makes sense and everything. So he didn't really have too many questions, or I mean, you kind of look at the Escape, you see it in person, you're like, oh, this is pretty nice.
Nice car. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm like, all right, well, let's drive these things. Nathan and I get into the truck and everything, start it up, and okay, diesel's running, starts right up and everything like that. Now, Nathan and I aren't like diesel pros or anything like that. We can get in a gas car and tell you a lot of different, details and how everything.
Diesel's a whole different world.
It really is. So we're just like, no check engine lights, okay, blah, blah, blah. And the guy had told us before we get driving that the transmission's got problems. He said, he's telling us these things about there's like these filters in the transmission, and he like took it into a guy and the filter was totally clogged up. So like they changed the filter and it shifted better for a few weeks and then got bad again. But we did check the transmission fluid level and it was on the dipstick and everything. So that's good.
Yeah.
And he's going on about something to do with like drain plugs or something like that. Something blah, 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 whatever. So we're like, let's just drive this thing, see what it's like. Nathan and I get out onto the road and we get going. First of all, this truck's very loud. Very loud diesel truck.
There's no way the exhaust is just dumping into the cabin or anything like that.
Of course not. And we get going down the road, and sure enough, it like pulls first, second, fine, but then starts like revving up and like will not get into third gear, and then finally like clunks into third. And then I try getting on the throttle, and it's just like nothing's happening. It's just like not accelerating really. It's hard to get this car up to 45 miles per hour. Like there's like no power. Eventually kind of got up to fourth gear. There's like some wobble in the front end. It's rough. So Nathan and I are like looking at each other like, is this worth it? Everything. Yeah. I asked Nathan, I'm like, once we get back to the gas station, I'm like, would you do it? And he's like, probably not. I'm like, all right. I don't know. So we get back. He's already back with the Escape and everything. And I'm not really like, I'm not even hemming and hawing as a negotiation tactic. I'm just like really torn. I'm like, I've got a perfectly good running car right now that I have no use for. And that will never be worth more than like $3,000 unless I find like just the right buyer.
Yeah.
Or I've got this truck that is the entire opposite condition, but has a lot fewer mileage, which is only 230,000, which is not much for a heavy duty truck.
Yeah.
And has a lot more cachet because it's a King Ranch. The interior is actually in decent shape.
It's in really good shape. Yeah.
Yeah. And will always be worth more than a hybrid Escape. Like everyone's worried with the hybrid, like, oh, the battery's going to need to be replaced. Oh, it's just an Escape. I could go buy a $1,500 Escape right down the road, all these things. Whereas like it's kind of like buying the crappiest house on the block now, what I have. Like all other F-150s like raise the value of this F-150.
Sure.
So I'm like standing around hemming and hawing, the guy's chatting and everything. And he could tell I'm like, I don't know, man. But you can tell this guy's kind of just fed up with Facebook and all the different offers he's gotten and people not showing up. And I bet you people have showed up and then like seen the truck and walked sort of thing. So finally he goes, if you just want to do straight trade, like I could do that. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was just like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. I did end up giving him $40 cash just to get his kids something nice for Christmas.
Oh.
Maybe not nice, but something.
Something. Yeah. That's polite.
So I gave him $40 and we signed over the titles, and Nathan and I drove away with this truck. Mm-hmm.
What was Nathan like? Like, what was he? Was he a little excited after you did it?
Well, yeah, he was excited because you get in the truck. It's cool. It's very high up. It's this cool King Ranch brown interior. I'll bring up some more photos here. So there's just a lot of coolness to it. We haven't gotten a ton of photos of it yet, but here is it cleaned up a little bit more, or here it is. So a lot of the dirt rubbed off. This fender is very damaged because the guy blew a tire on the highway and it came up and damaged the fender. That's easy to replace. Rust isn't awful on the truck. And here's this interior we're talking about. That's Nathan in it. This King Ranch interior looks awful in images, but it's supposed to look that way.
It is. Kind of. They all look like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of cool leather. It's fully loaded for the time, so it's got heated seats and a lot of places to put things. The rear seats are captain's chairs. And they have this big center console area, which is kind of a downside in my eyes because that makes it's not like a big flip up seat where you could put things into.
But cool factor
is high up there.
We need to get this truck like running properly and go on like a proper road trip with it. Go and tow something home.
100%. And it's got aux input, Bluetooth with this little aftermarket cheap unit and stuff. Little phone mount holder right here, which is cool. The interior is in really good shape. So it's got a lot of coolness to it. It really does. And right now, the main issues with it are the transmission issues, which, fingers crossed, if we're in luck, is just a solenoid. And if that's replaced, it might shift really well then.
Yep.
There's no exhaust pipe that I can see. And we're hoping that might be contributing to the lack of power and just not running right. It might not be building up enough back pressure to really run properly. Yeah. And then it leaks a significant amount of oil. And that is probably going to be the hardest to actually remedy.
Yeah.
Because I think it's leaking from the valve cover and just all over the engine. And it might not be worth fixing.
I'm sure Keone's excited, though.
Yeah, Keone saw dollar signs.
Yeah.
Cap's Garage is our car wizard. Interestingly, though, the main issue that people have with these 6.0s is apparently head gasket failure. And ours doesn't seem to be showing any of those symptoms.
Oh,
because
no smoke?
No smoke at all. And apparently one way you can tell is if you open the coolant reservoir cap and a ton of pressure comes out, and then you like reseal it, start it up, let it run for a minute, shut it back off, and do it again if there's it's again a ton of pressure in it. That's a bad sign. We did that. Ours doesn't do that. It's just like there's it's just like pretty normal pressure.
Cool.
No like white rings around any of the coolant.
No chalky milk.
Like that. Chalky milk. Yep. Anything like that. So
I think you did. I think that it was a W.
Yeah.
I think that you came out on top for sure. Just because the way I look at it and the way I've always looked at things and cars that are like worth around, value of less than $5,000. It's like at the end of the day, like, sure, I'm paying this amount for the car, but if I absolutely needed to, like, I could part this thing out and make all my money back. Like it's not.
And
something
this one would be very easy to part out and make money back.
I'm sure that interior is worth a lot. The interior in this car is in really nice shape, and I think that alone is probably worth $1,000.
Yeah, and Nathan has pointed out that with new diesel trucks and the fact that there's so many emissions restrictions on them and everything, old diesel trucks kind of hold their value.
Yeah, they do.
Because people want that older technology.
Yep.
And for sellability, I also thought, even if I just had to dump it off as is,
yeah,
there will be people out there.
$5,000-6,000.
Yeah, for enthusiasts of this sort of truck that are very familiar with the issues and are more willing to take on this sort of project than there would be for the Escape.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we have 2 printouts thanks to our buddy Stu at Gene Buttman Ford. This one, what did he call it? The
Oasis.
Oasis. So this talks about the car when it was first printed off. And Chris and I haven't looked through these yet, so we're saving them for the
We haven't
podcast.
looked at the Carfax either.
No, that's what I'm most excited for. Paint color is chestnut brown. 3,500 4-wheel.
You can see like what day it
part-time.
was built and where it was sold. And
Yep, it was built on the 10th of February of 2003. Funny enough, 1 day and 1 year after Nathan's birthday.
Oh.
Nathan was 1 year and 1 year old. 1 day and 1 year when this was built. It was released on the 15th of February. Warranty started on the 5th of April, so that probably means it only sat on the dealer lot for a few days. These are this is warranty work that was done.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. So this okay.
But that's a good thing, right? Like it's had a lot of work done.
Yeah, that's what we're going to go with. So the warranty started, this says 25th of April.
Okay, so like 3 weeks after they bought the truck.
Yes. The 9th of May of that year, vehicle is chugging and blowing smoke at idle, customer comments.
Oh my goodness.
Tech comments. Verified chugs and blows smoke at idle, performed 6-liter diesel diag and visual inspection, see attached seat, and perform WDS diag, replaced ICP sensor due to out of spec at idle. Retested okay. Okay.
Can you imagine that? You buy a brand new, like very expensive, top of the line diesel truck, and after a month of owning it, it's chugging and blowing white smoke.
Yep.
Shows that these were just real great engines from the factory, right?
Mm-hmm. 2 months later, changed engine oil and filter. Does it say a mileage? Distance, miles. Yep, 3,000 miles. Checked all hold belts fusion. Recalibration was needed a month later. Verified rough running condition concern. Performed 6-liter diesel diagnosis. Reprogrammed multiple modules. Retested okay. In September of 04, so it went over a year without anything. We're up to 9,000 miles. Performed a recall.
Wow, they didn't drive that very much at first.
Inspected ground terminal to block and install new stud per recall. So that seems like a good thing. Then in June of the next year, so we're at 13,000 miles, vehicle has no power on acceleration, and then other times it's fine. Verify the concern. Performed diag code. EGR valve sticking. Replaced EGR valve. Reprogrammed the FCM. TCM. Retested. Okay. So after 13,000 miles, this truck has already had a new ICP and ERG valve. That's good. Then that same time, vehicle air filter reminder came apart. Oh, minder. It was probably whatever. I don't know. Verified concern, replaced air filter minder label due to coming off. Tested okay. Sometimes warranty statements are kind of funny.
Yeah, they are.
Tailgate lock was not working properly that year as well. Built a new one with kit. Retested okay. Replaced oil dipstick parts.
Oh, you like doing that.
Mm-hmm. Performed a recall. We are up to 2006 now. Vehicle has coolant leak near head area. Inspect and advise. This is at 42,000 miles.
Oh,
verified
heavens.
coolant low. Perform coolant pressure test point to external coolant leak at both heads. ICP sensor leaking into connector. R&I cab for access to heads. Remove and okay, so the cab's been off.
The cab had to come off.
For access to heads. Replaced head gaskets both sides.
Oh.
Intake gaskets and seals. Both standpipes, oil and filter due to coolant in oil. Both exhaust manifolds, ICP sensor, and recalibrate PCM to latest version. Refill fluids, road tested okay. That was in November of 2006.
You never know why people don't like these 6 liters. There's no apparent signs.
2007, February. Customer states can smell fumes in cab more when it is cold. Verified exhaust smell in cab, inspect and found turbo inlet pipe leaking. Remove and inspect turbo assembly to access and replaced Y pipe. Drill and extract broken bolts and cleaned CAC tubing. Retested okay. March of 07. Verified when started runs rough. Performed Oasis search and reprogrammed FICM per TSB. Retested okay. March of 2007, same time actually. Customer states vehicle seems to be whining. Possible turbo. Verified whine noise in engine area on acceleration during road test. Performed TSB. Remove and inspect turbo to inspect and found heavy rust and ring stuck. Replaced turbo per TSB. Drain tube. Retested okay. Next year, 57,000 miles.
In 08?
Yep. Oil leak from between oil plug and crank pulley. Leak oil, leak diag, added dye, found crank seal leaky, removed fan shrouded and fan revamped crank damper, replaced crank seal and wear sleeve. That's all just the warranty work.
Okay.
That was listed in there. Now we move to the Carfax. It has had a moderate accident, Chris. 26 previous history records and 8 previous owners.
Oh, so you're only the 9th owner. That's not bad, huh?
However, the last odometer reading was 181,000. So this has had 50,000 miles since the last Carfax thing.
Oh, it was bought new at Atchison?
Was it really? I thought it was SOT.
Oh. What is this? Cold operation calibration. When it had 8 miles on it, it was at Atchison for something.
Weird.
Maybe it was dealer traded.
Holy cow, Chris.
It probably came in new to Atchison and was dealer traded somewhere else. Anyways, sorry, what?
I was looking at, it said owners 1 through 6. I thought that was just owner 1. Ford, vehicle service.
When was it crashed?
We're going to find out here. Serviced, oil changes, blah, blah, blah. This is all back 05 stuff we've already kind of seen. Okay, 2006 was the first damage. Excuse me. Damage report. It hit an animal, damage to left side, minor. Carry on.
So a deer probably ran into the side of it.
Probably. 2006, cylinder head gaskets replaced. I think we saw that on there.
Saw that on the
Turbocharger
Oasis.
replaced, repaired. Everything. Okay. So in that Oasis, around then, it looks like May of 08, it was sold.
Okay. As soon as it got out of warranty.
Yeah. But this owner 2 has no information.
Could have just been flipping it or something?
I thought so, but it jumps all the way a year to 75,000 miles. New owner in Spring Lake, Michigan. Vehicle maintained and serviced at Preferred Ford in Grand Haven, Michigan. All the way to 2011 when it hit a fence and suffered moderate damage.
Oh, did airbags deploy?
Does not say. Probably not then, right?
Yeah,
I think it would say.
Yeah, it would probably say.
Owner 4 was in 2012.
How do you get moderate damage from a fence?
I don't know. High speed, maybe. Owner 5 was in 2013. Spring Lake, Michigan. Preferred Ford again, so that's around there for a while. Owner 6 was in 2014. Just no information.
Well, they never serviced it.
Yeah.
At a shop that was reporting.
Yep. Had an oil filter change at 181,000 in Fremont, Michigan.
I see what's coming up next, and I'm excited.
You're talking about the damage reported?
Yeah.
Okay. In 2020, damage report was to front, and left side.
Yep. Next page will show a diagram of that.
Moderate damage. Yeah.
Jeez. So it's had 3 accidents?
Yes, reported at least. And then owner 8. So this was the guy.
That's why the headlights and bumper are so nice, because it's all just recently been replaced.
Yeah, good point. And then owner 8, who I bought it from, must have at least registered it in September of this year. Well, he registered it in October, but he bought it in September, so he took a month to register it. That's good. Exempt from odometer reporting, apparently. And that is it. So not a very enlightening Carfax, unfortunately. Glad I didn't pay for this.
Well, you know that it's had 9 owners and 3 accidents.
Yeah, but that doesn't I guess, surprise me in any way.
No.
I suspect whoever owned one of those owners just did a lot of towing because it has a 5th wheel attachment.
Oh yeah, somebody used it as a tow rig beater.
Interestingly, I put the VIN into Google and not a single result came up, so I don't think it's ever been listed at a dealer anytime recently. Because usually those come up in the archives.
Yeah, or a salvage auction.
You're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have told you that it was totaled by an insurance company. So none of the accidents totaled it.
Yeah, so that's good. And it's been...
Which is crazy, because wasn't it crashed in 2020 and that didn't total it?
Trucks.
I was going to say, I said that's
yeah.
crazy because it shows the value that it still has.
Yeah. The other thing that's kind of inspiring is, I mean, it's still been getting a good amount of mileage put on it. So like hopefully these issues that it has like are fairly remediable.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we will certainly keep you informed. And I obviously have to do some sort of Hoovie style video where it's like, I bought the...
Welcome to Hoovie's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube. And as you can see behind me, I have bought a 6.0.
Yes. Actually, the way I want to start my video is the Car Wizard has one of his videos about which diesel trucks not to buy. And he starts off with the 6.0 talking about how awful it is. And I want one of us to be watching that video and then like the camera to come up behind and be like, oh, that's good. And then like walk out and be like, all right, look what I bought.
That would be really funny. Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah. Yep. Either way, wish me luck. Send
I
prayers.
wish you luck. And I'm sending prayers.
Thank you. All of you as well, William. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And apparently new William. Channel has someone else who's vying for William's attention. And Chris, would you like to go drive the truck yet?
Potentially.
Okay. There's another video I think we should do, but I don't think you're going to be game for it.
Oh, God.
You and I we both have early 2000s very poorly running vehicles.
Oh, the ML55 in the truck.
I want to go out and drive and see which one
Brakes
drives
first.
better.
Oh, which one drives better?
Yeah. Who can get up to 60 miles per hour first? You think your car will get up to 60?
No.
It just sputters too much?
Yeah.
Okay. Nathan and I were able to get our truck up to 70, but it was terrifying. Oh, that's one thing I didn't mention. The wheels are 8-lug wheels. Every wheel has less than 8 lug nuts on it. So that's good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that is contributing to some of the wobbliness. And the tires are nearly slicks in the rear.
Yeah, and dry rotted very badly.
Are they?
Yes. That's why I said they were sketchy.
You're telling me the Lexani tires are not in good shape?
What are those, eBay or Amazon or something?
Probably.
Yeah.
So, cool. Well, we will be back next week to tell you about our time with the GV60, the QX60, and the F3 Filthy.
Walmart brand.
Walmart.
Yeah.
Yep. So my 3500 truck is on Walmart tires and aftermarket wheels.
Yeah, they're fully Walmart and Sears brand. Yeah.
Yes. We should look at the date code.
It's like the only place you can buy them that I can see.
Yeah.
Walmart, Sears, simpletire.com,
Okay.
which is probably Walmart.
Yeah.
eBay, Walmart,
Mm-hmm.
Speedy Tire. Yeah, no sort of. Oh, Giga Tires.
Giga tires. I'm sure that is where you.
I'm sure that's a good one there, but no like discount tire rack.
Can I
Bell
take this
tire.
truck to Buttman and ask them to? I want to reorder the same set of tires that are on it and see what they do.
Sure, they'd love that.
Yeah.
What you should do is take it to CarMax for an appraisal.
Yeah, it's a shame that there aren't any CarMaxes closer to us.
Where's the nearest
It's like
one?
Ohio, I think, or Grand
Really?
Rapids or something.
There's no CarMaxes here?
I don't think so. There might be one in Metro Detroit, but I really don't think there is. The Detroit dealer lobby is pretty hard.
You're right. Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it would make it.
Yeah. Yep. I wonder how many more people take their cars to CarMax for appraisals after Hoovie started doing that.
Probably a lot of people.
There's probably a lot of stupid cars. CarMax probably is like, why do we do this?
I know.
Yeah. Isn't it enough to just put it onto like Carvana's website and just see what the value is? You know, they're all probably going off the same type of data.
It's because it's just for content,
Content. Thank you all for watching 50 episodes of the Daily Motor Podcast.
This has been a lot of fun. I never thought that I would
Be the host of a podcast.
Yeah, or just stick with something this long, but I love it.
That's because I always ask Chris to do certain video things and then give up on them after 10 episodes.
Yes, but we have not given up on the podcast, and I love that.
Yeah, there are things that stick around.
But it's also just a lot of fun to come in here once a week and just
I mean, I intentionally didn't look at this until
for you guys, for
so
entertainment purposes.
What
is that 4.6 out of 5 at the top?
That Buttman is a 4.6 out of 5 dealer.
Oh, that seems pretty good. That's A minus, 92.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And we will see you on the next episode 51 of the Daily Motor Podcast. We are Paris and Nicole with Daily Motor, and as always...
No, we're Burp and Sniffle.
Oh, yeah, we're Burp and Sniffle. Thank you.
We're Paris and Nicole, but this week we're Burp and Sniffle.
Burp and Sniffle with Daily Motor, and as always, King Ranch on.
That's important.